I needed him on the pitch every day. He had an opinion, even in his deliberations with me, and when we were talking about the game and our tactical substitutions and things like that. He was intelligent and a student of the game.
He did his groundwork. He did his time as coach, assistant to Bobby, assistant to Van Gaal, and then he made the decision to step out on his own. And since then, it's proved to be a hell of a decision.
It was also a risk. Mourinho was giving up a well-paid job at Barcelona, and his failed playing career would open no doors. But he'd been studying to be a manager for 15 years, passing exams and collating information. The out-of-work coach spent the summer of 2000 transforming his notes into his own Bible, rewriting the rules of engagement for the 21st century coach.
He was a person coming out of a completely different education. Changed the way people train, changed the way people spoke about the game.
He had that confidence, he had that superiority. I used to send him sometimes on missions, scouting missions. He brought back the best tactical and appreciation of how our opponents played that I've seen.
His attention to detail is meticulous. He couldn't give enough information to his players. His training sessions were detailed and they moved quickly, didn't allow the players to get bored.
Mourinho scientifically devised a training method. In his 2 prime seasons at Chelsea, they were out of the blocks like Usain Bolt. And that doesn't happen by accident.
I thought it was all in the hope. In the first 2 years, exactly that's what happened. And we were playing catch-up all the time.
Jose hits the ground running. It's extraordinary. He always wins trophies. He is remarkable, and that places so much pressure on other coaches, because if they plead for time, their chairman can look at them and say, well, look at Mr. Mourinho.
You must work hard and well, because many people work hard and not well.
I spend most of the time on the laptop doing the reports. So, for this gentleman here, so I think he has to be satisfied with the work, so I try to do it the better way I can.
His football knowledge was so tremendous that, he was able to inspire all kinds of managers, to succeed the way he was succeeding.
I was doing a very nice interview, and now they're trying to cut my jaw off.
After that, the last defensive block is the 3 attackers against the 4 defenders.
I never saw his Bible, but I'm sure that he had prepared some kind of dossier or some kind of document that would be the blueprint for him to move forward.
So defensively, it's easy to analyze, it's easy to control, and you cannot concede goals playing playing this way.
I'm sure now, 10 years down the line, it's much changed from his original document, because if you don't evolve as a coach, you get left behind.
Quality is important. Quality of work, quality of leadership, quality in the relation with the players. I think it's about quality and about results. Managers who get results are the good ones. I'm not putting pressure on you about we have to win. I don't want to put that kind of pressure, but we cannot lose. We cannot lose.
If one club was kryptonite to Chelsea's Superman, it was Liverpool.
Gerrard with space, hacked in towards Barros, he's beaten Check through it.
They didn't score.
Goalkeeper made contact, Luis Garcia wanted to break the line, goal!
I will say this for all my life. There are certain highlights of your career that you never forget. So I never forget the goal nobody saw.
The serene capture of 2 Premier League titles had exposed the one glaring failure to secure Europe's biggest prize.
I think it's better Spanish questions because they care about the game.
And an increasing sourness had begun to replace the sparkle. Are you up against the best coach in the world?
He's one of the best, sure. He has a very good team, sure. But they will lose tomorrow.
Rafa Benitez was right.
And just what that will mean for Jose Mourinho, the headline writers will tell us soon enough.
Mourinho would complete his domestic trophy collection with the FA Cup, but the end of his English affair had almost been reached.
There's no doubt about it that he found the cluttered hierarchy of the club impossible to work with. I think he got the impression that the players were beginning to get a bit iffy. I think that was when he realised that, you know, it was all over.
Jose Mourinho pulled away from Chelsea's training ground for the last time this morning.
What did change over the last week, 10 days, few days, is that through discussions with Jose, through discussions with the club, then it became apparent that that was the right decision.
It was a bitter disappointment that Jose left when he did. I think there was still work for Jose and all of us to do to try and move the club forward a little bit. But sometimes the love runs out.
The fans are upset. Your players were crying yesterday when you...
And I was crying too. And I was crying too. So that's not the point.
But you still had to go?
Yes, yes, yes. Italy, I cannot say fun. It's difficult. It's really difficult, and every match is very tactical, and every match is a huge challenge to a coach. So to go there and to do what nobody did in the history of Italian football, which was win the treble, is something I cannot forget.
Why did you appoint Jose Mourinho?
Because Mourinho, the character, I liked a lot the character of Mourinho, and of course the results. From the beginning, I considered Mourinho special.
It shouldn't be understated, the ability to take a team out of Serie A at that time, when it was probably at the lowest ebb ever. And he came along and he created this team that could go anywhere.
The Italian establishment did not like Jose Mourinho.
Of course, because they lose.
He's broken the system.
He's broken the system, but also because Inter wins, and that is something not really acceptable.
It all peaked one tempestuous night at the San Siro, with a gesture that spoke volumes more than any Mourinho soundbite. The Italian Referees Union threatened to go on strike before Mourinho was banned for 3 games. What is it about Mourinho's character that seems prepared to overstep a mark others wouldn't?
It's Barcelona. If you subtract from Mourinho's dark side incidents involving Barcelona, he's only grey at worst.
We had to face again the situation of play against them with 10 players.
I think you could get the finest psychologist from Oxford University and get him or her to analyse Jose Mourinho's extraordinary relationship with Barcelona Football Club.
Barcelona wants to be the best team on the pitch. Chelsea wants to be the best team on the pitch. I hope the referee wants to be the best team on the pitch.
He perceives that, you know, they look down on him. So I'm sure there is an element of wanting to prove his former masters wrong.
I always believe in success, and the reason why I left was because I believe I could have a good future as a manager.
When Jose Mourinho was a translator here, did you see him becoming the great manager he is today?
No. I have to say that if in that time I would see this talent, I would go to the president and say, "Oh, keep going here because this guy is good."
In fact, 6 months after he left Chelsea, Mourinho held talks about becoming the next manager of Barcelona. he made a brilliant presentation to Barcelona's then sporting director, Tixi Beguristan.
He thought that he could be the Barcelona manager. He kind of approached Barcelona if there was a possibility. And I think all that built up in him. And obviously, whenever he plays against Barcelona, he probably thinks he has to prove himself.
Mourinho's refusal to soften his abrasive style was the stumbling block. Instead, Barcelona would appoint a man fully ingrained in their more-than-a-club tradition.
Thank you, sir. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. 2 years later, Mourinho and Guardiola faced each other as managers in the last 4 of the Champions League.
The semi-final tilts Mourinho's way.
Mourinho's Inter had won the first leg 3-1.
We have the dream to play the Champions League final. For Barcelona, it's not a dream. It's an obsession. There is a difference between a dream and an obsession. A dream is more pure than obsession. A dream is about pride. For them, this is an obsession, and the obsession is called Madrid and Santiago Bernabéu.
Most of the teams, they don't know how to play against Barcelona. To play against a big team like Barcelona, you have to know exactly the qualities they have and exactly what you have to do.
His philosophy is that you may have to play against a team who are better than you, but you have to find a way to win the game. And sometimes you have to accept that you're playing against a better team. Yes, better team, but not meaning the winning team.
When Thiago Motta saw the red card, Barcelona dugout was celebrating like a goal. I felt in that moment they were feeling the job is done. And I went there while Pepe was speaking with Ibra to say, you think it is over, but it's far from over. Maybe to motivate myself, maybe to tell them it's not like we think it's going to be. To play against Barcelona for an hour with 10 players in a Champions League semi-final in a stadium where 100,000 people was playing was an incredible achievement for us. We did it, in my opinion, a brilliant way.
Inter Milan will go to Madrid, and Jose Mourinho's moment has come again. Barcelona have mocked him, now they fall to him.
Once upon a time they called you the translator here, but is this one of your proudest moments as a manager?
Yes. Is
the most proud?
Yes. Yes. I won UEFA Cup final, I won Champions League final, I won big matches, I had great moments in my career. And this one is the best one.
Jose Mourinho talked about Barcelona having this obsession to go to Madrid and that maybe that would undermine Barcelona. Was he correct?
No, I didn't answer to Mr. Mourinho.
What about the way that the sprinklers came on at the end? Did you see that when your players were celebrating? Barcelona put the sprinklers on. They got a bit wet.
But to clean our blood, because they left the skin, so we needed some water to clean the blood. My players left blood on the pitch.
You can't help laughing sometimes when he's grappling with the goalkeeper of the opposing team and they start to struggle and it gets a little bit ugly. Mourinho is the only football manager who celebrates a goal or a win in exactly the same style as his players. I've seen him skid onto the pitch on his knees. I've seen him leap onto another player's back, and that makes him one of the team, makes him the leader of the game.
We said before the game, we go goal down, nothing changes, no, we need to...
I think he's quite pleased, isn't he, with that?
He is happy. He wasn't happy at half-time, but, you know, he's much happier now.
Testimony to his work is always players want to play for him. We all know it's a result industry, but it can be made easier by players who commit themselves to you as a coach. And I think Jose's got that rapport with all his players.
To be a technically good coach is one thing, but what gives you the extra effectiveness is if the players love you. And love is not too strong a word.
I would never think a guy who hadn't played a game could be a top coach. But then you've got to look at his personality. I think his personality does it. He's got a marvellous, strong personality, and I think that bridges that gap.
My friend Louis van Gaal says, you wouldn't do the same as I did. He can't do because he's too slow. He can't run the way I can. I'm fast like a lion.
I remember at Inter, I wasn't sometimes part of the start 11, but he's always find a time to talk. If every single players put the team before themselves, they will be successful. And I think that is the strength of Jose Mourinho.